What's going on, everybody? If you watched college football this past weekend, then you know that Texas and Mississippi State was an absolute thriller. Texas overcame a huge deficit to win in overtime, but it was this late punt return touchdown that tied the game up and allowed it to go into overtime. And I want to put it under a microscope and break it down a little bit. I think it's a really good combination of Jimmys and Joes and X's and O's, so let's dive in. All right, we can't see every member of the Texas punt return team in the frame here, but outside of the five guys that we do see, there are two to their left, one on the line of scrimmage and one that is, a sort of a box defender, similar to number 2, right? So there are 7 defenders for Texas in the box. This is what special teams coaches will call a giant look because there are 7 in the box. Mississippi State has 7 to block, so there's a hat on a hat. All 7 are accounted for. You have 3 personal protectors, essentially, 4 on the line of scrimmage. So everyone's accounted for. Number 2, and number 0, who's not in the frame. They are playing, kind of that second level. They're going to do what's called clear the cylinder, which we'll get into in a little bit. And now the gunners, Mississippi State has 2 gunners to their left, and they have their solo gunner to the right? So all 11 players have been accounted for. So we're going to run this. We're going to get the snap indicator from 56. There it is. And we can see that the center has released right after snapping the ball. So that's what's different about college football as opposed to the NFL. The long snapper is uncovered and he is free to run down the field off the snap. That's why, if you have an athletic long snapper, it's a bit of a competitive advantage because he can get down there, make things happen. Obviously, you're not counting on him to make an open field tackle on a returner, but he can go down there and obviously have a huge effect on the path and the return of the returner. So 2 has cleared the cylinder, right? No fake, right? He's looking to see the ball be snapped into the center's hands. Now he's going to get eyes to the 2 gunners. We see everyone rushing, right? 2's adjusting. Now the long snapper is running down the field. Now there's 0. 0 comes into the frame. So this is essentially what Mississippi State wants to do is they want to punt it, in the middle of the field because we're going to see in a little bit, we're going to see those gunners kind of crashing in, right? They're taking kind of inside releases to follow kind of and trail the long snapper to get to kind of the middle of the field. And so in turn, this becomes sort of a middle return for Texas, right? Kind of a safe middle return. We see the long snapper getting down the field. Now, the thing about this is the punter, in my opinion, this is more of a line drive, right? The punter did not give this enough hang time for an adequate amount of coverage. Other thing that we see here, and this is kind of something that I think most special teams coaches would say is a bit of a no-no. These 2 are pretty much on the same plane. Okay, that's not what you want to do. What you are normally looking for when you're looking for coverage, special teams coaches will tell you they'll have their own sets of rules and their own beliefs on it, but a general rule of thumb is you want to have about 5 yards of separation between coverage, naturally, right? Because if everyone's on the same plane, if everyone is at the same depth, and a punt returner makes a guy miss, then there's really no one else to beat, right? And the art of punt returning is generally making the first guy or the first 2 guys miss, aka the gunners, because if you can make those guys miss, you have a greater chance of obviously taking this thing the distance. So this starts as kind of a really 2, I would say, huge no-nos in the fact that, the punt didn't really have enough hang time and give enough time for adequate coverage, because we're going to see that Ryan Niblett, who is a fantastic punt returner, by the way, we'll touch on him in a little bit, he has, over 10 yards of separation between him and who is essentially going to be the first on the punt cover team between the left side gunner, our left side gunner, if we're looking at it, and the long snap. Okay, so Niblett's going to field it, and it becomes more of a middle left punt, if you will. And we're going to see here, obviously, the long snapper not really in a position to make a play on the ball, right? Now, the gunner is charging down, and what they really do a good job of is really create that wall. That wall player is trying to get in front of that gunner and kind of spring Niblett to the left. So Niblett fields it, and obviously his momentum in the punt itself kind of carries him, to the left. And they're going to have numbers, as you can see right here in the film. They've got numbers to that side, so he's going to break left. The gunner does a really good job of kind of shedding that block, flattening his angle, and getting in pursuit. Can't make the tackle, but does slip Niblett up and give other guys a chance to rally and try to make this block. But man, look at the cylinder player, right? Like we were talking about in the beginning. Look at this dude. He's going to come all the way down and kind of get this basketball, this sideline block, however you want to describe it. All right, we talk about not getting, no blocks in the back, not touching one in the back, no pushing, nothing, right? We're talking about a clean technical approach, and that's kind of what we were talking about in the beginning, right? With the X's and O's and the schematics of it. He does a really good job of trying to screen that guy. get in front, right? Hands up, so we're not getting hands on the punt cover guy, right? We're not trying to draw any type of unwanted attention or even create anything that the refs could call or even misconstrue. Hands up, trying to wall and screen in front. Does a fantastic job of springing Niblet. And now Niblet just has to make another guy miss, and he's off to the races, which he does, right? Now, 19 does a really good job of covering. Obviously, it is tough to break down and make a tackle in space against a guy as talented and as athletic as Niblet. He tries his best, does slow him up, but Niblet again, right, just being a better athlete, being a really good athlete. Like we talked about, man, Jimmys and Joes. As complicated as we may try to make this game, it's about having really good players, and Niblet is a really good player and a really good athlete. I highly encourage you, go look at what he did in high school and on the track. He's a very, very talented player and one of the best, if not the best punt returner in the country. Breaks the second tackle, and that's the other thing we talked about too, making one or two guys miss. That's what punt return is about. If you can make that first guy miss, you're going to have an opportunity to really extend the life of that punt return. He makes two guys miss, and now we've got numbers. Now we've got this wall established, right? 4 guys in frame. Now, Mississippi State, obviously, they're coming to cover, and they're going to take their angles. But watch 51 stonewall this dude. Bang! Stonewall's 84. Really good job of keeping the return alive. Niblet doesn't even flinch, keeps going. Obviously, Mississippi State dive and miss. And, man, that's kind of the art of the punt return that really broke this game back open, tied it up, and gave Texas an opportunity to take it into overtime. So